Hello friends, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming and welcome to another Path of Exile video. Today I'm going to talk about the differences between leveling as a Hierophant and as a Chieftain for Holy Flame Totem. I decided to make a new character for solo self-found and I decided, well, I really enjoyed Holy Flame Totem, it was a lot of fun, but I didn't want to play another Hierophant, so I decided to level up as a Chieftain. And here I am, and I have a lot to say about the differences between the two, because they did feel very different in a lot of ways, especially leveling up. Now, I'm only early endgame, so I'll probably do a follow-up to this character specifically, but I do want to spend this early endgame review talking about the differences in the leveling experience, because I think they're distinct, and when making your decision between whether or not you want to go Templar and go as a Hierophant, or go as a Marauder and go as a Chieftain, there's a lot to consider. So we're going to start off by taking a look at the skill tree. As you can see, I've done up to Merciless Lab currently. I'm pretty early on, level 69, nice. And I had to start off going through life and armor, because obviously melee damage isn't going to do anything at the end game, so I didn't want to waste those points. Now, what I did end up doing is I ended up going until I got the Heralds of Purity and Ash, and then I started, and that was right around the time as well that I was able to get up to the Double Totem, Ancestral Bond. So as soon as I could get Ancestral Bond, I did so, and then I proceeded to start leveling as Holy Flame Totem. I actually think that's a waste. I think that was the wrong move. I think the best way to transition is to start as a melee build, maybe go Molten Strike or something, and then transition to Holy Flame Totem in Act 4 once you get the multi-totem support. So you'll want the multiple totem support, allowing you to have 3 totems. I would get the skill points right up to here and then not take Ancestral Bond. Then once you get that, the next level you grab Ancestral Bond, you'll have 4 totems, you'll have your first ascendancy, and then you'll start to take off. But it was very, very slow, if I'm going to be completely honest, transitioning in Act 2. So I started off a Molten Strike build, I changed over to Holy Flame Totem, Double Totem in Act 2, and I don't think that's necessarily the correct move. The big reason for that is, unlike the Hierophant, you don't have access to pretty much any damage nodes in the beginning. You're going to go through all of these life nodes here, because those are the only thing that's not really a waste that you can get. And this node, which does literally nothing outside of the 20 strength, which gives you 10 base HP, so that's very little benefit there. And then you're going to go up through here, and once you finally get up here, you can go grab Light of Divinity, Holy Dominion, and Retribution, and you finally get some actual damage to your build from there, and then you can swing over through Devotion and up and grab these totem nodes and prepare to take Ancestral Bond. Now, I do think that this is a non-crit build currently, however I might spec into crit. I do have a Divinarius currently on solo self-found, and I do have access. I can easily go up to Annihilation, go over and grab Shaman's Dominion, and come over and grab Arcane Potency, and then I'll swap out my Controlled Destruction or Combustion maybe instead for an increased critical strike support. So that's still on the table, but currently the other big difference is you do a lot less damage. Now, you do, once you have that multi-totem, do enough damage where it's not going to be an issue. This is still a fairly high damage build. After you grab your Ancestral Bond, or before you do if you're going to wait until you get multi-totems, you just swing over here and you grab like Arcanist Dominion, Firewalker, some more life here. You're definitely going to need some mana regen, because boy, do you run into a lot of mana problems with this. And then you'll grab like Shamanistic Fury and of course Quick Recovery. I did end up grabbing Precision because I wanted to be able to have a little bit of extra dex for faster attacks. I'm currently using Leap Slam, but I might switch to Flame Dash. I should also have this as a 3-link with Fortify, but I haven't really optimized my endgame setup just yet. I am going to work on that though, and I'll have Fortify, which will help with survivability a little bit if I don't switch to Flame Dash. Now, with the Hierophant, you were just absolutely shooting out damage, but there was much less survivability. I died a lot as a Hierophant. I died once on this character, and it was only because I kind of AFK'd at the end of Act 9 near Dwayne, and I forgot that she had that random thing that jumped out. So I died because I decided I wanted to shoo my cat away from my computer, basically. But other than that, a lot more survivability on this build. You don't really feel like you're in a lot of danger of dying. There's a ton of life available comparatively. I still can grab all of this. I still have some up here. I'm actually going to go down and grab Barbarism. And then I'm going to try to craft later on some physical damage taken as fire once I get that available on a helmet. So I have those plans currently. Going to be very, very robust in terms of health. Now, I could forego that and kind of go crit instead, be more crit focused, because this isn't solo self-found hardcore. This is softcore, so maybe that extra damage will be a little bit more useful, but because it's a lot harder as a Marauder to stretch all the way over to this side of the tree, you're going to be missing out on a lot of crit. So you're going to have to rely on a lot of crit chance on your weapons, on your jewelry, on jewels maybe. So it's going to be a lot more difficult to get a high crit chance. Might have to use a diamond flask. Almost certainly would have to use a diamond flask. So that's available. You can make it so it's a higher DPS, but it's much, much more difficult. I pretty much didn't have too much of a problem. Another issue, I guess, leveling up is until you get up into that Templar section, you don't have a lot of intelligence for leveling up your gems. Once you start getting these points up here and moving on over towards this way, you'll start having plenty of intelligence. And by the time you get to Act 6 and get the gem rewards, you can make sure that you get all your support gems you weren't able to get otherwise. Or you can just do the library quest. That can help a lot as well. So that is something useful you can do in this particular case. I'm going to do a quick demonstration. Now, because of my ascendancy, it's going to pop in between 12.3k and 20k damage. That's times 4 because I can have 4 totems. Don't really have any charge generation just yet. But yeah, I'm gonna throw in an alleyways. This is actually only the second map that I've done on this, so alright, that is an easy enough one to run. Already mods, so we're just gonna hop in here and see how it goes. Not gonna bother elking the maps just yet, but we don't have the fastest attack speed, but we did just pick up more dex, so we're gonna be able to level up, and as you can see, clears the trash mobs pretty well overall. We're gonna have a red beast, and that'll be a nice little demonstration of what the damage potential is. A lot of the damage we do get is through penetration of the fire resistance. We don't have a fire pen gem. That might be our 6th slot. We'll have to see what we want to do there, but we pretty much have full fire conversion. We're doing literally all fire damage, so by pretty much I mean literally all fire conversion. And it's not quite as much damage. Like we can't just jump past every pack because yellow mobs don't die immediately. Blue mobs usually do, but it's not quite as immediate as the other one. So the playstyle is a little bit different. Because you're a little bit more tanky, or quite a bit more tanky really, you can kind of just jump right onto mobs and it won't be too much of an issue. For the most part, I say as I nearly die. But yeah. I almost got stuck there. I guess maybe I shouldn't be jumping into big packs of mobs without Fortify at least. And once I get Fortify and once I get maybe a 5-link with some armor on it instead, I'd like to get an armor and energy shield hybrid one so we can kind of get the benefit going from that. And it would also allow me to roll the right sockets or the right colors. I could also just do 2, I could put Fire Pen as my 6th and just use the crafting bench in order to do 2 blue sockets for relatively cheap. That'll be an option as well. Alright. And yeah, as you see, it's not quite as quick at taking out rare mobs, unfortunately. But still pretty respectable damage. It's still level 17 gem, I think. 17 or 16? 17. Alright. So, still pretty early on here in the development. Go ahead and grab some of this stuff. Buckler. Alright. So, pretty smooth for the most part. not the quickest of all builds. Oh, another thing to talk about that I haven't talked about yet is projectile speed. So that is actually something that just isn't available. We could potentially remedy this by getting faster projectiles, of course, but it's dex, which is hard to get for one thing, and another thing is might just be a little bit more difficult to get the sockets rolling. Oh, I got stunned or something. Frozen, maybe. And that was the red beast, and it took quite a while compared to what our other build would, especially for a tier 1 map. So we're definitely going to have to work on the damage. Maybe I'll just start swinging towards crit for a while. We'll see. We'll see. That might be the way we'll have to go. I am currently on a 5-link. I found a 5-link body armor. I just, you know, threw an essence, I think, on it, and managed to get some with some resistances and some life on there. So not a lot of life, not a lot of resistances. Our gear leaves a lot to be desired, but we just got to end game. This is solo self-found, which I didn't have any other characters really on previously, like 2 level 14 or 17 characters I was just messing around on, but nothing actually serious on here. So for the most part, we'll have to sort that all out. I can't just buy it, unfortunately, but I'll definitely be crafting some gear as soon as I can. So here's the boss. The map took a lot longer than our previous build would have allowed for, but the boss went down quick enough, and that is pretty much it. So overall, my conclusion is if you want a tankier build, this is way more hardcore viable. I would definitely go with the Chieftain, but maybe for softcore, if you want to just do tons and tons of DPS, like literally millions of DPS later on, I would definitely choose the Hierophant instead. You can actually get another more multiplier instead of multiple totems because the Hierophant ascendancy, allowing you to get that additional totem and the double totem placement. So that is very nice because you don't have the less damage from multi-totems. I would recommend that for softcore. So hardcore, go Chieftain, softcore, go Hierophant. But I hope you enjoyed. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye!